else. But life just in general, y'all, can be disappointing. It can be devastating at times. And it involves some tragedies. There are hardships. There are trials. There are tribulations. There are failures that happen. And it's very difficult. Life is very demanding. And anytime we experience disappointment or crisis, we pave the way for depression to come into our lives. I'm just opening it up. A lot of great men and women in the Bible. Is there a male that can help me for a minute? Any man that can just stand up for a second? I want to just now move this to the Bible. Just thank you so much. What's your name, sir? Huh? No, Job. Job. You're Job. Tell everybody, say, hi, I'm Job. Okay, that's Job. Come stand up here for a second, Job. Nice tie you're having on. Job had everything that a man could have. Everything that a man wanted. Job trusted God, and Job had everything he prayed for, yet Job lost it all. He got so depressed that he wished he had died. He said, I wish I had died when I was born. In the end, he got with God, though. And he repented for ever doubting God. He repented for ever doubting God's goodness. He repented for ever doubting God's greatness. And he was blessed with twice as much as he had before. Somebody say, hey, Job. Okay, now we've talked about depression, but now I want to talk to you about those in the Lord. He was in the Lord. And he got what? Depressed. Because there are some listening to me right now that'll say, I just don't think people ought to go to church and hear about that. And we will do their funerals in a couple of weeks, and you will do an autopsy and find nothing wrong with them. We'll call it a heart attack. Heart attack / depressed from overload of trying to solve everybody else's problems. Because we cannot deal with living a life and people thinking we're not good because we couldn't answer for them. There's something about being a leader that says you got to fix it. But there's a greater thing about being a leader that says if God brought it to you, he wants you to give it to him. But when we give it to God, we don't get credit for it. And that's what troubles sometimes those of us who feel like we have to answer everybody else's problem. Is everybody okay? Is there another man that wanted to help me? Another man, I couldn't see. Another. Thank you. This is, what's your name? No. This is Jonah. Come up here for a minute, Jonah. Jonah said it was better for me to die than live. God told him, you've got to go preach to some people that you don't like. You're white, you got to go talk to the black church. You're black, you have to go talk to the white church. You're young, you got to go talk to some older people. You're old, you need to go talk to some younger people. I need to send you in a place that you're not comfortable with. Everybody's talking about coming together, and you're talking about depression. You got to speak what I want you to. Jonah said, Lord, I can't do that. I got a reputation. God said, no, Jonah, you have a mission. Jonah did what God told him to do. Talk to some bad people, y'all. And after he had just preached in this place called Nineveh, the whole city, all those bad people repented. God sent him to a club to preach, and the club got right. No, you don't get it. The girls stopped dancing on the poles, and they started walking down the aisles. And so things started happening great. Is there another guy? There's a guy right there. What's your name? No. Your name's not Joseph. Your name is Elijah. So Elijah destroyed all these prophets of Baal and caused it to rain after there had been a drought. God used him to speak rain into a dry situation. Then he sat down and got depressed. Why? Because this lady named Jezebel was trying to kill him, and he asked the Lord, Lord, just kill me. I can't be taken out by this woman because I'm trying to do your work. The Lord cheered him up and brought food and drink to him and asked him what was wrong. But Elijah, he had just accomplished a major task. But he kept complaining to God. He said, God, I think I'm the only one that's serving you. You got Job, you got Jonah, you got Elijah. Jonah and Elijah, both. Y'all come together, hold hands for a second. Jonah, just Jonah and Elijah. You were Jonah. Amen. So Jonah and Elijah show us that we're just as vulnerable to depression after some successes. They succeeded. They won. You're vulnerable to depression after victories. We expect our lives to be a certain way after we achieve certain things. I've graduated. I've had children. I've moved into another neighborhood. I have my family back. So now you're vulnerable to a whole nother level of successes. When things aren't the way we thought they would be, after we won, after they won, they got depressed. Is there another guy around the building so we can move on? So what's your name, sir? Max. No, your name is Paul. Come over here. Paul was depressed. What? Yes, the guy who wrote almost the entire New Testament. The one that God specifically chose to put the word down that we live by now. This was another man of God. Now notice all of these men that I have before you are men of God, men blessed by God to do great things. Why are they up here, Pastor Rush? Because these men, with all of their power, working for the master, but experiencing depression. Why must we hide what we deal with as Christians? Paul, you're depressed because of all the persecution. People just talk about you. And he kept asking God, take away this thorn in his flesh. There's this major something that's going on that just won't go away. And it's making his life miserable. People don't believe who he is, because if God is such a healer, if God is so rewarding, if God is so merciful, and if God is so powerful, why you still got these problems, old man? If your God is so good, why is your stuff so jacked up, old man? And so Paul is saying, Lord, let me have the right life, the right body, so people will believe me. He said, no, Paul, you got it so good, I can't give it to you like that, bro. He said in the Bible, 2 Corinthians, then he told me, my grace is enough. Paul, you're a good guy, but my grace is all you need. No, I don't need to straighten up your walk. I don't need to take away your issues. I just need you to know that just me blessing you every day, giving you what you need, supplying your every need, answering all. Y'all don't get this yet, do you? That's all you need. Paul said, God, they know me for being a lover of you. Jesus, they know me for the word. But I have as many issues, if not more, than the people I'm preaching to. Help me to get rid of this stuff so they'll believe me. And he says, what? There it is right on the board. He said, my grace is enough. It's all you need. My strength comes into his own in your weakness. What people are noticing is not how good you are, but how strong you are with what you have to deal with. Can I get any more witnesses in here? And he said, once I heard that, he said, I was glad to let it happen. I quit focusing on my handicap. I quit focusing on my issue. And I began appreciating the gift that God gave me. It was a case of Christ's strength moving. He was moving in on my weakness. I'm talking about 4 men here that God chose, and 4 men who went through massive depression. Is there one more guy so we can get out of church before 10:45? And the other guy. And you? Come on up here then, David. You look more like Goliath, but you're going to be David today. Come on. I'm having a visual issue here. Some of my visual aids, you know. This is the other David. David on steroid. You know that other David. David, one of the mighty heroes. But yeah, here's a guy right here, a man after God's own heart. And if he's the little guy, can you imagine what his brothers look like? He understood what it meant to exchange his weakness for God's strength. Verse after verse in Psalms, he wrote about being in trouble and being in crisis, being tormented. Here was a man, when you read the book of Psalms, you're reading David, who God picked, a man after God's own heart. Every other time you turn around, he's talking about the torment that he's going through. This is God's man. This is you. When people read our stories, they want to hear about our victories, but somebody's got to say and leave a note to other Christians. Sometimes when you witness, it turns bad, but God is still good. And so after writing about all of this torment, David, can you put your hands up just a little bit? The Bible talks about him starting to praise and thank God for saving him and healing him and for his delivering power. And after spending a lot of those verses talking about God's goodness, David's perspective changed. It went from hopelessness to faith to victory. I need somebody to repeat those after me. Say, hopelessness to faith to victory. Now come on, go with me. Say, hopelessness to faith to victory. See, the only way you're going to have victory is that you have to come back from something. What's happening a lot of times with a lot of our young people and a lot of us that are Christians, see, some of you have never had any bad days because somebody's always been there for you, so you've had nothing to come back from. You don't know what many dangers, taws, and snares are. Sometimes all you need to do is spend a little time in trouble before you realize that victory is mine. And somewhere on the other side of this, I got a dance waiting on me, but I got to get past where I am. Can y'all hear me here? I got to get past where I am now before I can get my dance on. But I'm telling you right now, practice your dance in your cave. Practice your dance in your jail cell. Practice your dance when you're in court. Practice your dance at the red light. Practice your dance when they're reading your exam. Don't wait until you're free to dance. Dance when you're bound.